Good evening. This is All India Radio Kohima. I'm Ningnam Hangsing with the evening news. The headlines. Nagaland Assembly today demands the Government of India to immediately withdraw the Armed Forces Special Powers Act 1958 from the Northeast and specifically from the state of Nagaland. Leader of NPS Legislature T.R. Zeliang says Armed Forces Special Powers Act is a license to kill. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says government is committed to strengthening good governance that is pro-people and proactive governance. And the Election Laws Amendment Bill 2021 passed in Lok Sabha. As India marches towards administering 150 crore vaccine doses against COVID-19, news about the fresh corona variants is also causing concern. In this situation, we appeal to our listeners to get fully vaccinated at the earliest and also help others get vaccinated. Please follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 6 feet for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-239-78046 and 1075 and state helpline number 1800-345-0019. And now the news. Nagaland Assembly has demanded the Government of India to immediately withdraw the Armed Forces Special Powers Act AFSPA 1958 from the Northeast and specifically from the state of Nagaland. In a resolution adopted at the special one-day session convened today, it said that the cry of the Naga people for peace and early solution of the long-pending Naga political issue is of paramount necessity. Stating that AFSPA is a hindrance to peace, the resolution condemned the massacre that took place at Oting Tiru village area in Mon district on the 4th of this month in the indiscriminate firing by the 21 Para Special Force of the Indian Army in which innocent people were killed, followed by another innocent person killed on 5th and injuring 35 persons by security forces at Mon town. Demanding an apology from appropriate authority for the massacre, the House also asked for an assurance that justice will be delivered. Leader of NPF Legislature Party T.R. Zeliang said that Armed Forces Special Powers Act AFSPA 1958 is a license to kill. Stating this in the Assembly today, he said the brutal killing of 14 innocent civilians in Mon district is a blatant violation of human rights of the highest degree. Demanding strongly for immediate withdrawal and repeal of the act by Government of India, Zeliang pointed out that the draconian act can no longer be used in India as it was promulgated in 1942 by the British government to suppress the Indian citizens. Further, he urged the investigating team to establish as to who or which intelligence agency provided inputs to the Indian Army in Assam to lay ambush on the vehicle carrying the unfortunate civilians and who misled the Union Home Minister. Expressing serious concern over the absence of a state human rights commission in Nagaland, Zeliang urged the Speaker of the House to urgently initiate for constitution of the same during the tenure of the present Assembly itself in the interest of the people of the state. A one-day 10th session of the 13th Nagaland Legislative Assembly NLA was convened today to discuss on matters of urgent public importance under Rule 50. Opening the session, NLA Speaker Sharingain Longkuma informed the House that the session was convened due to the killing of 14 civilians at Mon district by Indian Army on the 4th and 5th of this month. Terming the incident the worst in recent times, the Speaker said it was a result of the Armed Forces Special Powers Act AFSPA 1958 in force in the state. Sharingain pointed out that ever since the declaration of Nagaland as a disturbed area on 29 March 1997 and enforcement of AFSPA in Nagaland, the state government had been opposed to it. He said the provisions of the act are not only excessive, but the immunity to armed forces is still worse. The Speaker urged the members to collectively demand for removal of AFSPA from the state of Nagaland. Members of the Nagaland Legislative Assembly, cutting across party lines today, unanimously condemned the Armed Forces Special Powers Act AFSPA 1958 as not only against the constitution of the country but the very foundation of any democratic nation. Condemning AFSPA, the members said that the act is no good for any civilized nation except as a threat to unity of the country. Minister Transport, Civil Aviation and Land Resources Paiwang Konyak said the act is creating more hatred against India. India. NPF MLA Imkong L. Imchin opined that AFSPA is employed clandestinely to continue racial discrimination of the mainland India. Stating that Oting massacre is a result of racist attitude of the armed forces, he said that it is an insult to Prime Minister Modi's vision of inclusive development and progressing together. Questioning the statement of the Union Home Minister Amit Shah on the Oting incident, Imkong demanded for finding out as to who has misled the Home Minister. NPF MLA Dr. Chumben Muri, joining in the discussion, said a democratic country like India should have realized the unjustifiability of such an act. He said the act is a violation of human rights and the army has made a fool of themselves by killing innocent villagers under the influence of AFSPA. NPF MLA Kuzuluzo Nienu described the act as a separate law to suppress and demean the people of Northeast and Jammu and Kashmir. Calling the act as a black law, he said the Oting killing has awakened the nation of its folly. Nienu demanded for court-martialing of the 21 para-commandos involved in the killing. Criticizing the misleading statement of the Union Home Minister Amit Shah in the parliament that the incident was a result of mistaken identity, Nienu said that the Oting massacre cannot be brushed aside as intelligence failure since India ranks 6th among the best in intelligence applied country in the world. He urged the members of the Assembly for follow-up action till the removal of the act is achieved. This news comes to you from All India Radio Kohima. You can also listen to this news bulletin on our YouTube channel AIR News Kohima. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today said government is committed to strengthening good governance that is pro-people and proactive governance. In a message to the people of the country during the observation of Good Governance Week from 20th to 25th of December, Modi said the development of India is reliant on the development of villages. He said the government is giving utmost priority to schemes which will make villages more efficient and usher in a new era of Gram Swaraj. The Election Laws Amendment Bill 2021 was passed in the Lok Sabha today. Law Minister Kiren Rijiju introduced the Election Amendment Bill 2021 in the Lok Sabha amidst sloganeering by the opposition members. Opposition members including Congress and Left opposed the introduction of the Election Laws Amendment Bill 2021. Allaying the apprehension of opposition members, Rijiju said the bill is intended to legislate a strong act to prevent bogus and fake voting. He said it will lead to add some provisions in the Representation of the People Act 1950 and 1951 by which Aadhaar can be linked with electoral rolls. The minister said it will ensure credible electoral roll and the bill fully qualifies the contours outlined by the Supreme Court in the verdict of Justice K.S. Puttaswamy versus Union of India regarding protection of right to privacy as a fundamental right. Nagaland today reported one COVID-19 case and nil recovery from the infection. One positive case was reported from Dimapur. With this, the total confirmed positive cases in the state increased to 32,170, while the recovered cases remained at 30,317. The total fatalities due to the infection remained at 685. At present, there are 83 active cases in the state. And now to end the news, the headlines once again. Nagaland Assembly today demands the Government of India to immediately withdraw the Armed Forces Special Powers Act 1958 from the Northeast and specifically from the state of Nagaland. Leader of NPF Legislature Party, T.R. Zeliang says Armed Forces Special Powers Act is a license to kill. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says government is committed to strengthening good governance that is pro-people and proactive governance. And the Election Laws Amendment Bill 2021 passed in Lok Sabha. That is all we have in this evening news bulletin. Have a pleasant night.